Alrighty, guys, so NIO's earnings are out, and we got to break them down in this video. We have to break down NIO's chart, and we have to go over the actual earnings release. We're going to look at a bunch of numbers. We're going to read through this release and go over my thoughts on NIO. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee. Do not forget to get your 13 stocks from Moomoo with a $100 deposit. Each of those could be up to $2,000. Each of those 13 stocks, those are linked right down below. And let's dive into the video. So right off the bat, you're noticing NIO stock has gapped down a good amount since these earnings came out, and they came out this morning a couple of hours ago. I'm filming this at about 8:25 a.m. on the East Coast. So we're noticing it closed at $17.11 yesterday, and now in the pre-market when I'm filming, it is at $16.24. In other words, it is down about 4.5%. So nothing crazy, but it is down close to 5%. In fact, at its lowest point, $15.85, it was down 7%. So it got down 7%, and now it's rebounded a bit from that point on the intraday chart. You guys can see that, and if I pull up the 4-hour chart, you guys can clearly see this has been downtrending for months. And really, these earnings that just came out has pushed the stock deeper into a downtrend, and who knows, maybe it does end up going down towards those lows from a couple of months ago. And honestly, it's too early to tell if that's even going to happen. But overall, they did not do that well, especially with guidance. So let's talk about it. Q2 EPS came in at negative 20 cents versus the negative 17 cents estimated on revenue of $1.53 billion versus $1.43 billion estimated. So they actually missed on EPS, but they beat on revenue, and they see Q3 revenue of 1.91 to 2.03 billion, so right around 1.92 billion versus the 2.32 billion estimate. So that is not really good. So they guided down on revenue, they missed on EPS, they bled more money than they thought they were, and they reported deliveries of 25,059, which I think we'll take a look more, deeper into that here in a couple of minutes on the actual news release. And they expect deliveries of vehicles to be between 31,000 and 33,000 for Q3 of 2022. And I'm not sure if they gave a full year 2022 delivery estimate. I'm not sure if they did give that, but overall, that's what we're noticing off those brief numbers, the numbers that you see once earnings come out, EPS, revenue, guidance. Now, let's go over here to the actual press release, right? So if we do that, let's go quickly. And mind you guys, these earnings, they're unaudited, right? So they're not audited. This is a Chinese company. Keep that in mind. So there is inherent risk, added risk with a Chinese company. So if we run through these quickly, guys, let's not spend too much time on this video because I value your time. And if you are finding value in the video, you might as well hit that like button. So let's talk about these deliveries. Here we go. This is NIO's unaudited again for the third time, second quarter 2022 financial results. You guys see that right here, right? And if we look down here, we're noticing the deliveries of vehicles were 25,059, like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago in the second quarter, including 3,600 roughly ES8s, 9,900 ES6s, 4,700 EC6s, and about 6,700 ET7s, representing an increase of 14.4% from the second quarter of 2021 and a decrease of 2.8% from the first quarter. So not too bad. They're not decreasing much from the first quarter. I was expecting them to decrease. And honestly, that 14% growth, obviously it's slowing down, from previous years, but it's not that bad considering we're in a recession, everything going on in China, the U.S., the supply chain, yada, yada, yada. We're not going to get into that in this video. And if we look here, these are some of the numbers for vehicle sales, 1.4 billion, right? These are all in millions, right? Yeah, 1.4 1.4 billion, in the second quarter of 2022, representing an increase of 21% from the first quarter of, or from the second quarter of 2021, and an increase of 3.5% from 2022. Vehicle margin was 16.7% in the second quarter of 22, compared with 20% in the second quarter of last year and 18.1% in the first quarter of 2022. So vehicle margin, as expected, is coming down a pretty decent amount from last year, and we're noticing that not in just NIO, but in a lot of companies in a lot of different industries. Their margins are coming down pretty substantially, right? And some worse than others. Gross margin was 13% in the second quarter, compared with an 18% in the second quarter of last year and a 14.6% in the first quarter of 2022. So their profits are slimming, guys. Those margins are slimming, no doubt about it. And net loss was $411 million, and this is in U.S. dollars, guys, in the second quarter of 2022, representing an increase of 370% from the, oh my God, I didn't realize that, 370% from the second quarter of last year and an increase of 55% from the first quarter of 2022. So they're losing money hand over fist, guys, especially in this past quarter that they just reported. And let's see here. What else do we got? This is an RMB, so maybe let's skip this section. Revenues, revenues, 1.5 billion. We talked about that already. That's for the total revenues, cost of sales, margin, yada, yada, yada. Let's go down here and look a little bit more at the business outlook. This is for the third quarter of 2022, and I mentioned this a little bit, but we're going to dive a little bit more into it here with some percentage numbers. So, percentages rather. What we're noticing here is deliveries of vehicles to be between, for the next quarter, I believe, 31 to 33,000, like I mentioned earlier in this video. That's representing an increase of approximately 26.8 to 35% from the same quarter of 2021. Now, I mean, if you look at the previous quarter, what we just got, the earnings we just got, the deliveries were an increase of 14.4% year over year. So they believe that's going to grow, right? They believe the comparable for the next quarter, it's going to be, growth of anywhere from 27 to 35%. So I'd say that's pretty good. If NIO comes in and hits those numbers and maybe even surpasses the upper end of that range, which I doubt, but who knows, maybe it happens, that could spur up a breakout in the stock. So what we have here, this is the balance sheet. We might as well quickly look at the balance sheet. How long have we been in this video? About 7 minutes. So we might as well look at the balance sheet, and then we'll just quickly maybe go back to the charts and wrap up the video. So this is the balance sheet, right? We have assets, liabilities. You guys can probably see the entire thing. If you can't, don't worry. I'll read out the things that I want to talk about here. So in U.S. dollars, as of June 30th, 2022, total current assets were $9.7 billion, right? $9.7 billion and those are the total current assets, and total assets in general, including the non-current, $14 billion, right? And personally, I like looking at the current ratio right off the bat. It goes over, it's pretty much, to put it in simple terms, current assets over current liabilities. So current assets, again, $9.6 billion, keep that in mind. Let's go look at total current liabilities, $5.1 billion. That's good. That means they're able to pay, if they wanted to, their current liabilities. These are liabilities due within the next 12 months. They can pay them off with their total current assets, if they move some money around. And these are assets that, they can get the money fairly quickly, depending on, what it is here. We have some inventory. We have short-term investments. They could probably get that quick. Cash and cash equivalents, they can dip into that for sure. So their balance sheet, just looking at that, total assets over total current assets over total current liabilities, tongue twister, that is looking good. Obviously, there's more to it. You got to dive a little bit deeper into it, look at some other things, but just looking at that, and total assets in general are more than total liabilities. That is pretty solid, right? And if we go down here, is there anything else worth looking at? This goes more into, this is the statement of comprehensive loss. Let's see what else they got going on here. This is the statement of comprehensive loss continued. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Obviously, we could do a 45-minute video going over all this crap, but as of now, Neo, what you guys have to realize is, and let's go back to ThinkOrSwim so we can wrap the video up. What you have to realize is, Neo, as Tesla is, as a lot of these, especially electric vehicle companies that rely heavily on chips, that are going through the supply chain problems right now, they're not doing well in the short term. But long term, I do believe Neo has a place in this market, in the electric vehicle market. No doubt about it, especially as they continue to grow, expand, and get into other countries as well. So they're struggling right now. They missed on EPS. Their guidance for the next couple quarters, or really for the next quarter, not looking good. But we shall see. This could be the, I don't want to say it's the bottom, but a lot of the pain is already here. It's already been priced in my opinion, and I'm personally long Neo. I've been long Neo for years at this point, and I'm still sticking it through. It's down 75% from all-time highs, and personally, I'm still up on my position because I bought in way before the hype. And I'm not BSing you guys. All my OG viewers know I was talking about Neo in 2019. It's been 3 years of me talking about Neo, probably pushing 4 years at this point. Well, maybe not 4 years, probably more like three, almost and a half years of me talking about Neo. And I think it's going to do well. I think there's definitely potential there. Could it go out of business? Absolutely, guys. It's still a pretty speculative company. It's not like a solid blue chip Apple or like a Microsoft. It's not anywhere near that. But I think it could end up turning out well, especially if they don't go out of business and execute like I believe they could, which it's a risk. Everything in the stock market, there's a degree of risk to it, right? So with that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up. Oh, geez, cough out of nowhere. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe, check out my Patreon, link down below, and get your 13 stocks from Moomoo with a $100 deposit. Each of those could be up to $2,000. And don't forget to also get your 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. And if you guys want to subscribe to my second channel, Stas Talks Money, that's linked right down below. General finance content, personal finance content, and we're going to dive into some controversial topics on that channel. So make sure to subscribe, get your free stocks, and with that being said, cheers, guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.